back, y'all. So it's Patrick from Chasing Tails Adventures, Vermont. So we are actually going to try a new project this year. We're going to be doing a lot of muskrat stuff with my youngest. He wants to learn trapping, and he's going to get his license this coming year. So we're going to see what we can do. I'm trying to come up with a design where we can have a trap that will hold multiple rats at a time, kind of like a colony, but a little different. There's various models out there. Anyways, we'll get to all that, but anyway, well, this is some mesh wire here. This is where's my cat? So this is 36-inch long, 10 feet, or I should say 36-inch wide, I'm sorry, 10 feet long. I have seen numerous different types of cage traps made for muskrat. I could make colony traps pretty easily. However, I'm looking for something that I can leave out for extended periods of time that's going to maximize the amount of rats that I can contain in a single trap. Because I'm going to have my son trapping with me this year. His focus to start learning on is going to be muskrats mostly. And if we have a bigger trap that we can leave out for longer periods of time while we're checking other things and other traps and other areas, it's just going to be more lucrative for us, I believe. Like I said, there are many different types out there that you can look at that people have made or that are for sale. They have the new style floating traps. So you can look into those. I believe, I don't remember, I think they're out of Canada or somewhere, maybe out west. You would have to look into it, but it's a floating colony trap. Look it up. There's two different types. One is made out of a wire that is big enough to the smaller rats can actually go out, so all you're catching is the bigger rats. So if you're in an area that you want to continue to leave seed for the following year, you can do that. Or the other style takes everything, and that's the type that I'm building right now because I do a lot of ADC work, nuisance trapping and things where they want as many gone as possible. Even though muskrats have a very high mortality rate as it is, they do have multiple litters per year. So that's nature's way of fighting the mortality rate. Excuse me, I'll spit it out eventually here. So however, even though that's the case, a lot of these areas want everything gone because they're digging into banks. I'm doing a lot of farm work and I work for trapping for the railroad and things like that, the highway departments and things where they're digging into the banks as bad as beavers do, and it's caving banks in. They're having to go in and spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in each area to repair. So this is what we're doing. Anyway, so this is 36 inches wide by 10 feet long. This is going to be the bottom of our trap, our containment area. So I'm hoping out of a 10-foot long piece, I'm going to get two, hopefully, out of that. And then we have, sorry, I'm inside my house at the moment. My shop is a disaster area. And anyway, so you can see this is the smaller section that's going to be the top of our trap, kind of more along the lines of what a normal colony trap would be, only it's going to affix to the top of this trap. So this portion will be underwater. This portion will be above water. They can go in. There will be an opening that they can get down into the lower part and then drown. So anyway, this one is 2 foot by 10 foot. And I'm hoping to be able to get the top trap, 2 of the top traps, and whatever I need for the end pieces for these 2, and hopefully the doors for everything out of this. Plus there's going to be a small tube chamber going down in from this one to this one. So when the rats go down in, they'll go to the side trying to get back up. And a lot of times they won't come back up that chamber. They can if they find it. So you may end up with a live one in there at some point, but most of the time they're going to go down that chute and they're going to get lost down in there, and that's where they're going to be. So that's the hopes. Anyway, we're going to give her a go here There's multiple different ways you can do this. I would prefer to do it with J hooks. I do not have any J hooks, so my plan is to use any extra pieces of wire that I have, and these 1/2-inch square pieces. If I cut them properly, I have that 1/2 inch worth of material that I can actually wrap back around with a pair of needle nose or what have you, and create my own loops for affixing the trap together. Again, it's holding muskrats. Muskrats are not overly powerful, so it's not like you got to worry too much about them breaking through your trap, but you don't want to leave bigger gaps, because if they can push their head through, they will try to get through. And so anyway, let's see what we can come up with here, and I will show you. I'm not going to show you the entire process because I'm going to be brainstorming as I'm going. However, I will show you hopefully different stages, and you can come up with some ideas of your own on how you want to do it. This saves me money. I don't have to go out and buy traps from other people or order them online, because I don't have anywhere locally. I'm in Vermont. There's not really very many places locally, if any, left to actually go out and buy this type of equipment. There may be one, and it's like 2 hours away, 3 hours away, something like that. So I like building things myself, so we're going to see what we can come up with. Anyway, y'all stay tuned. All right, folks, so here we are. So I'm planning on making my bottom trap basically 9 inches by 18 inches. So it's going to be, well, it'll be 9 inches wide and then 18 inches tall from the bottom to the top, if that makes sense to you. But instead of cutting this at 56 inches, or no, I'm sorry. Instead of cutting this at 54 inches, which is 4'6", 9 and 9 is 18. 18 times 3 basically is 54. I made it an extra inch long. The reason for that is so when I get to that last corner, I have an inch worth of play that I can fold over, and I have more to wire to, or however I want to decide at that point to tie this together. If that makes sense for you guys. I hope it does. So we have a 55-inch long piece at the moment by 3 feet wide. And then we will start, I'm going to use this. You can use anything. I got a piece of 2x4 here. If you've got a 4-foot square, there's whatever. You can use anything you want. And then I'm going to place this to start at 18 inches. Or you can do your 9-inch piece first. I'm not sure if that matters at this point. We'll see once I start going. My cat wants to help. My dogs want to help. I'm sorry. I apologize for them. Again, I'm inside. My shop is a disaster. So anyway, we're going to start folding this. And you want 2 sections at 18 inches, 2 sections at 9 inches. So 18, 9, 18, 9. Or vice versa, however you decide to do it. 9, 18, 9, 18. So that you make the first portion of that, and then you can work your end pieces afterwards. So we'll get this folded up and then go from there. All right, there's the first set of folds. So we got 9 inches, 18, 9, 18. So don't worry too much about the fact that it's still rolled. This is pretty limber wire. It's only 1/2 inch, not very heavy mesh. You can straighten that out as you go. If you really wanted to, you could cut small wood slats or something to put inside, you know, to kind of frame the ends or whatever. There's all kinds of things that you can do. It's all personal preference. I know out the gate, this isn't going to be the most beautiful cage trap that I've ever made before, and I'm okay with that, because again, all this is to try to maximize the amount of rats we can get in one trap. This is to save on having to put 50 sets out. I can put what we have for footholds and 110s out in the most prime areas, and then put these where a lot of them congregate, and we should be able to, you know, capitalize on more rats at one shot. So that it's kind of a set and forget type deal, you know. if that makes any sense to you guys. But anyway, don't get too wrapped up in the beauty of everything opposed to the functionality. Just make it so it works. Keep it simple. So I thought while I was doing this, maybe I would show you what I'm doing. So these rolls of the mesh come, and they have these wires wrapped around them to hold it together, so it doesn't spring on you when you take it out of the package. It's a lesser quality wire, feels kind of like aluminum to me, but it works well in this situation. And what I do, see, I put a couple pieces on generally to hold it in place. And then what I do, I started right here on the corner and I put a loop on it, and I'm taking this, because this wire is so limber, and I'm threading it all the way through, and I will continue to do that all the way down this edge. And then where this lip comes over to this side, I will do the same thing all the way down that side. And that holds this together. Because we're going to be using this primarily in a river setting, and there's water levels fluctuating constantly. If you guys watched any of our videos last year, we fought water fluctuating issues the entire season for the 5 weeks that we did trap. I may end up having to put floats on these or end up adjusting them on a daily basis. However, I believe once I get the rats comfortable using them, you know, as long as I can stay ahead of it, we should be all right. But anyways, you use that lesser quality wire and you can thread it, basically just like thread. Takes a little effort, but it's well worth it. And I will stiffen the insides up with some type of wood. It's not going to be anything big. It's going to be fairly thin, just to help stiffen the trap a little bit, because of the chance that in a river setting we're going to run into otters possibly messing with these. So I figured it would be worth doing. I will see what I have. I may end up having to go pick up something, but it doesn't have to be anything extravagant, and it doesn't have to be anything beautiful. I think a lot of people, they fall into that category of everything's got to look nice, everything's got to be crisp and clean. As long as your doors operate and function properly, and it just generally works, it really doesn't matter what it looks like. Maybe to you it does. To each their own. You do your own thing, but this is what we're doing, and I figured while I was doing this, it might be worth, you know, showing. So anyway, just to give you some food for thought. All right, just to show you guys. So I went all the way down that edge, weave that all the way in, all the way down through. It works really well. What I will do is, after I get this part done, you can see that I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to snug it as, trying to snug everything, you know, as best I can, to keep it nice and neat. And then I will clip these pieces off, because any of you that know that muskrat hides are really thin, and it doesn't take much at all to tear or rip or puncture into them or whatever. So you don't want to leave any sharp edges on the inside that they can get caught on and end up destroying the hides. I do use the muskrat carcasses for multiple other things. However, I would rather preserve the hide as well, because we usually get quite a few jumbo rats in this area up here. So yeah, I'm going to continue working that line down now, and I'll go all the way the same as I did with this one. And then I'll get back with you. All right, you can see the base there. We're going to do these ends afterwards, get it stiffened up a little bit better. Get the hole cut at the top, decide what I want to do on the top. Some people do a board. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. And then this is going to be our main piece on top that's going to be out of the water that the rats go into, like what would be a normal, this would be basically a 7x7 by 2 foot colony trap, essentially. And then there'll be a hole in the bottom or whatever to go in there and match up to that, so that they come in here after the bait, they realize they can't get it, they go down in the hole, they go down in the bottom because they want to go back to water, and essentially that's the trap. So anyway, progress. Okay, and we're back. So you can see I got the bottom done. I got the top pretty much done. So I need to get some J hooks, and I need to figure out something that I want to use for a clip, so that when I this is going to be my bait box in here, put all the bait in there, and then I want to be able to open and close this. So I've got it, you know, for now zip tied for hinges, and then I will come up with some kind of a clip. They're most likely not going to climb up here, but just in case, I want to be able to clip and unclip it. This will be hooked to this, and as I said, there will be a hole, a very good sized hole in there for them to be able to go down in to get underneath, because they're going to want to go for water once they realize they can't get back out this way. I have a gate made already for inside here. I just got to get some J hooks for because I like the J hooks. They'll hold it better in place to let it swing freely without, you know, hanging up and catching. And then once I get the hole cut through the bottom of this one and into the top of this one, so that they can freely, because what they'll do is they'll come in here, go through the gate. Of course, the gate's going to close behind them, just like the normal colony. Try to get to the bait. That I got that caged off in there. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. So they can't get to it. And then the first thing they're going to want to do once they realize they can't get back out is they're going to want to go to water. And the water will be right underneath this, because this will be at water line. If I have too much fluctuation in the river, I will put floats on this down here and have to mess around and figure out how, you know, what kind of size and whatnot of float that I need for this particular cage, depending on the weight, to try to keep this part above water and this part below. But that's all something that's workable. For now, I'm going to try to just set this on the bottom with the water over the top of this, and this open, obviously, above water, and then anchor it just to test it. I want to see how well it works. I know this is 18 inches high here, by 9 inches, and then the cage itself is 7 by 7 here, and this is 3 feet long. So hypothetically speaking, you can fit a ton of rats in this thing. Over here, I zip tied this part together for now, so I can, out in the field, I can bring more ties with me if I need to, until I can get the J hooks. And what I'll do is I will J hook the bottom so that pivots like this door does up here, and then I will get clips that I can clip in here so that they can't push out. But yeah, so far that's the design. Once I get it done, we're getting really close. We got about a week, and then it's youth weekend for my son, and also the start of trapping season up here. We start on October 26th. I don't typically trap a whole lot of fall season. However, I do want to get some bait. I like using raw bait. I'll freeze it until it's time for fisher cats in particular. And we got the whole month of December for that. Unfortunately, we only have the first 2 weeks of December for bobcat, but I wouldn't mind having some fresh bait for some cubby sets possibly. And then go from there. But I do want to see where I catch a few rats. It's not a big deal to have for bait. I do want to make up some of my predator bait, and some of that I do use muskrat, because muskrat has, obviously by the name, it has its own musk. Anybody that's ever handled them and dealt with them knows. A lot of places use prairie dog and things like that. I don't have prairie dog, or I could use groundhog and things like that, but it's such a pain to get. Muskrat's just so much easier. So we're going to test this thing out. I want to put it through its paces and see what I want to change or not. I have enough material to make one more. And if they work out really well, then I will probably make a few more even. That way it's just so much easier. Like I said, I don't mind putting out the footholds. I do like that process. It's fun to do. I don't mind putting out 110s for muskrat. Typical colony traps, you get 2 or 3 in a trap and it's packed full and they can't get any more in there. So I'd rather do something like this if I can. Problem is with ice up, when we do get into the ice up, I'm not going to be able to use this unless I put the whole thing under the ice. Not sure about that yet. I think it's just going to be mainly an open water thing. Something different to try. Like I said, they have all different variations of this that you can find out there online and on YouTube and wherever. There is a company that sells a floating trap, 2 different styles, and they're very effective. Instead of spending the money to do that, I wanted to try to build my own thing that would work better for me and for my sons. And I like tinkering. So if you got the time to do it, spend a few bucks on it. If you don't like it, go out and buy one, you know. But try to do stuff yourself, you know, creativity, ingenuity, all that kind of different whatever. And yeah, so there we are. I hope you guys like it. I probably will put something down here where they go in. Where they go in here, I probably will put something here. Thin piece of wood or something. You know, their feet aren't that big. From what I've seen before, they're not real particular on walking on mesh. So if I put something here, or what I may do is just cover this up, this whole thing, you know, this whole area with grass, because I plan on covering some of this anyways to encapsulate some of it. I want them to get the smell of the bait, and I want them to come and investigate the bait. But if you encapsulate this, I think they're more likely, you know, to go in here. So I'll put some grass or rushes or something over this. So maybe that's all I'll do, is I'll just make sure there's a good layer of that on there. But either way, you guys should see this in the field once I get it rocking and rolling and ready to go. And my demon dog there looking in the camera. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it gives you guys some ideas, maybe pique your creativity and come up with your own ideas and your own ways of doing things. I wish you all the best of luck, tight chains this season, and can't wait to see you guys out there. Thanks for following. Please like and subscribe. Comment if you can. It helps not only my channel, but all the channels that have to do with trapping and things like that. It shows the algorithm that people are really interested in this. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything that I upload. And I can't thank you guys enough for being here. All right. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.